Okay, so some people keep asking me, what are the lies? What are the lies, and what is Jojo's sort of perspective? Because people think this is only my perspective and only what I'm saying. So I'm just going to read out Jojo's statement in response to the lawyer's letter. And let me just say that the only reason that Jojo actually approached the lawyer was because Ben came back to her and said that they were taking no responsibility, they would not be giving any compensation, and that if she wanted any compensation, she would have to go to a lawyer and go through the public liability insurance, which she then did. And then earlier this month, in July, the lawyers came back and said that the public liability is not valid, therefore they cannot get any compensation from the public liability insurance, and that the Medicine Festival are a charity, and therefore they don't have any money, and therefore you're not going to get any compensation from them. So the lawyers have dropped the case. Let me stipulate, or just reiterate, that Jojo never wanted to go through the lawyers. She was only forced to, because Ben refused to help her, or Medicine Festival have refused to help her, refused to offer her any compensation. So this is her statement. Dear Medicine Festival, Josh, Ben, Jimena, George, Moshi, Remy, Zach, Seth, and Jenna. It is unfortunate I need to write this letter in response to your lies. I am shocked that 9 of you have agreed to make up such a big story of lies, hiding the truth of what happened when I fell in the fire at Medicine Festival on the 30th of August 2020 and suffered severe burns to my hands. In the legal case, you produced false documents saying, I said I was under the influence of illicit drugs and alcohol, I had impaired judgment and displayed irrational behavior, none of which is true. Your event log says that I ignored Kate's request to stop. I have never met a Kate. You state that marshals and security warned the people and myself at the fire to stand back and cease, and we repeatedly ignored requests. While there was no marshals or security present at any time around the fire before I fell in. You claim security staff stood between some of us, forcing us to move back, that the people around the fire created a barrier preventing security staff access. There was no security staff present at any time. You gave Hans the sole responsibility of that fire as the firekeeper, and he did not communicate anything to us around the fire at any point. I have a voice recording of him and Ben Christie, recorded by Tom Askew, asking what he saw. Hans clearly says that he decided not to step in or interfere. In the recording, Ben Christie asked Hans, did you get distracted by something that took your eye away when she went into the fire? I have explained to Ben Christie in the past that I did not sense Hans's presence at the fire. Many people were there have said the same. Hans also claimed to have pulled me out of the fire when in fact it was Samesh. You included photos of a different tiny fire, as if this was the fire I fell into. I have a clear photo of the fire and all the people surrounding it, a very large fire, and taken just before I fell in. Your risk assessments confirm no changes for fire safety have been made since 2020, when I attended the festival in 2021. I saw the drastic changes you had made, a large firekeeper team with a manager, a new fire location with mounds, boundaries surrounding the entire fire, where people are not allowed to step over and no one is able to get near the fire unless supervised. I noted that Hans was no longer on the fire marshal team. Falsification and forgery is a criminal offense with serious consequences. This festival was the first of its kind. When you invited me to your house, Ben Christie, to quiz me on what happened, your exact words, speaking on behalf of the festival, were, we were like children, doing something for the first time. It was very wobbly. All I have ever asked was that you, as event organizers and landowner, take some responsibility for what happened that night. There were no indigenous people there holding the space, and yet, yes, it was very wobbly, especially when you chose to gather 1,200 people in COVID times and not being able to hold the space safely. You created more fear and separation with some decisions made, and the energies were all over the place. Ben Christie also told me that there were some dark people there dressed in black and white, intentionally bringing negative energies, and that the dragons of the lands were angry. I was also told that there were people around the fire under the influence of ketamine. With divine power comes great responsibility. That year there was a lack of safety and holding, protecting the space and the people. The integrity of your words and actions does not represent the medicine you claim to offer and work with. You consistently promote safety at the festival, and I hope it's safe subsequently. It certainly was not the first time. How different it would be if you humbly admitted, acknowledged, and honored the failures and learnings. Instead, you are busy covering up, lying, and denying all responsibility. When I called a meeting with you all in 2021, many of you cried and expressed your guilt and shame for not supporting me or acknowledging me for what I have suffered. Since then, nothing has changed. You have no integrity. Each year, you sell tickets that you are profiting hundreds of thousands of pounds from, and promoting that you gift all profits to the indigenous communities. 33,000 so far. I wonder where the rest has gone. Your medicine festival vision speaks of humankind reclaiming reciprocity and guardianship for all of life, living harmoniously and supporting each other in an equitable world. Reciprocity in sharing needs, caring for each other, and empathy. Guardianship is taking care and responsibility. Equity meaning fair, just, and honest. Again, there is no integrity. I have not received any of this from you. Alongside 3 years of intense healing on all levels and 4 surgeries, including 2 skin grafts, I have had to endure more unnecessary trauma with this ongoing legal case dragging your heels for so long and hoping I will go away one day. How different this this may have been handled if this had happened to someone that you do value and respect, such as a well-known artist or musician, or a well-respected indigenous leader. May they have been treated with empathy, cared for, and supported as someone in the community. You treat people differently depending on their status, and it's not what our community needs. It's not about telling lies, elitism, power, and greed anymore. These are the old ways that damage society. It is no consequence that someone has come along my path recently who wants to write the story and the injustice of your actions. When I discovered the lies you have told 3 weeks ago, my heart guides me to share the truth. This weekend, the truth of the story is to be published in a national UK newspaper. The lies you are telling to clear your guilt and shame and denial of taking any responsibility will be revealed. Somesh is handing this letter to you in support of me and all that I write here. He was there, as you know, the main witness who pulled me from the fire and was there until I was taken off in the stretcher to hospital. He witnessed it all and knows the truth. This letter is not about blame. It is justification and to express my disbelief in your corruption. You each portray yourselves to be strong community leaders who are the many people in our precious wide spiritual community respect and honor. You each portray yourselves to be strong community leaders who the many people in our precious wide spiritual community respect and honor. You are abusing your power, and I'm astonished that the 9 of you are all in this together. I am hoping but not expecting to receive a response to this letter, so that after 3 years we may begin to build bridges of trust and authenticity. Yours sincerely, Jojo Smith. And I personally can corroborate everything she's just said. Everything she has just said is truth. Everything that the Medicine Festival has said are lies after lies after lies. I was there. She wasn't on alcohol or drugs, neither was I. I was completely present, which is why when she got pushed in the fire, okay, she got pushed, I was there to pick her up. I picked her up as quickly as I could, and thank God that I was right there at that moment, because she didn't die or receive even worse burns. She was very, very lucky. Medicine Festival have been very lucky that she didn't get burned worse. Maybe her whole face could have been burnt. Maybe she could have died if somebody wasn't there, right there to collect her, to pick her up. The fact that they are denying any responsibility is a total injustice, and it needs to be exposed. If after reading this letter and looking at all the facts in this matter, you are still upholding the Medicine Festival's narrative and agenda of protecting themselves and covering this up, then you are as much to blame as they are. And I would seriously take a look at your ethics and ask yourself, are you actually standing for truth and justice and love and peace? Because only through the truth and actually being real and authentic and having ethics can we make any changes on this planet. I ask you, I beg you, to look at the facts in this case, and speak to whoever you know in the medicine festival, and urge them to take accountability and to stop telling lies, and to stop trying to cover up their accountability in this case.